Okay, perfect. I don't know what happened. But anyway, being in the military was really restrictive. And the more I was sort of oppressed, the more my psychic and intuition and stuff was like the front and center. So that's kind of an interesting paradox that happened. And then when I met my husband, my second husband, um, I was really not sure if like the first time I remember him coming over to my house, I thought, oh my God, all my journals, I need to go burn them. Like that was I was being triggered from those old hurts. So I had a lot of stuff to go through. Um, but yeah, it unveiled itself and unfolded a step at a time. And thank God I married, a wonderful man who is so accepting. And he's seen me kind of accept my abilities, one step at a time, and has seen how it unfolded in a really natural way. And even though this was nothing like what he was used to, he's very accepting of what I do, very supportive. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the same with me. I always make a joke that I manifested my husband on paper, because it took me, like 6 months to even cry about the dissolving of my marriage. And when I did that, I can remember, doing the little crying session and then busting out a piece of paper and being like, okay, I'm done with that. Now what am I going to do? And it was all these qualities. It wasn't about looks, it was about these qualities of, I can trust this person, I can share who I am authentically, and they're not going to judge me or criticize me or make fun of me. um little things like that. And then it was 2 years before I met my husband. Let me see, 2000, actually it was about a year and a half, and then I met my husband, and within just a few months we were married. It was like really fast. Mhm. 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 Right. Mhm. Yeah. And it's kind of interesting how, oh, I'm sorry. It's kind of interesting how, not only in our country, but other countries as well, it's like this idea that somehow you're going to have these kids and this job and this husband, and they're all going to fulfill you. And we're not really taught how to be fulfilled on the inside first. Because then I know a lot of people that get married, have kids, have a job, and they're miserable. They're like, what am I doing? What have I been doing my whole life? So I think that's Mhm. Mhm. Right. Right. Yeah. So let me see here. What is trying to think. I think it would be fear. I'm still working with fear. That's sort of a thing that's um I think I have a fear of success, and um being big in the world is not easy, I don't think. I mean, of course, you can see where my programming is coming into play. So I'm definitely still working with that because I just sometimes I just want to hide out. I don't want to let the world see me. So I think that's what I'm still working to shift. Hmm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And my field is, yeah. Hmm. And my field, it's not like I show up and be like, hey, I sell insurance, you know? I mean, it's like our country is still very much coming to terms with the fact that we, can communicate with our loved ones in spirit. So that kind of compounds it a little bit. But I know that I'm getting closer every day. And I just have to remember that, Doreen Virtue says something really good. She says, when you're nervous, focus on service. So I have to just know that, okay, I'm going to be on a blab today. And by seeing my face and hearing what I talk about, that's the more people that can be reached, the more minds that can be opened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not so, yeah, it's not so bad anymore. Now I'm like, yay, I have visitors. Yeah, that's funny. That's okay. Um, so it's kind of interesting. I've started to be introduced to psychic investigation work. So that's kind of interesting because I do have spirits that come in and they like, I had one last, 2 weeks ago who she gave me, I asked her her name. She gave me a name. I could see, I had a description of what she looked like. I knew how she passed away. I knew who did it. And it was interesting because the name she gave me, I went to Google. I woke up, this happened in a dream. And I told my husband, I said, grab my phone. I've got to Google something. So I wrote her name in there and then I put murder. And the last name, what I thought was the last name, it wasn't her last name. It was actually the name of the journal or the newspaper that printed this story. So it came right up and I had all the details. So spirit teaches me things all the time. I'm starting to kind of go into that world of I would like to help, use my abilities for cold cases and stuff like that. But usually people will come to me and that's when spirit steps in because I kind of turn it on and off. I mean, it's not just open hours, office hours all the time. Yeah, I have a life and I have children to raise and um that's not, I'm not on all the time, but I do, I don't bring spirit to you. You bring your loved ones with you to me, and then I communicate where you can't sense them, or you may sense them, but you're not getting a clear message. Um, and I use my faculties, my psychic faculties of seeing, and sometimes I see objectively, but it's very, very rarely. Usually, it's I see in my mind's eye, and I hear, psychic hearing, and then I just have that gut feeling of knowing. So if I were to get a man, I see a man step forward, I know he's a man, but I don't know the relationship. So then I go into my knowing, and I'm like, okay, asking him what is the relationship, and then he'll let me know, and just how I feel, so he can, because we all know what it feels like to have a father or to have an uncle. All those vibrations are just a little bit different. And so that's how I'm able to pick apart the information and get it. So, mhm. Yeah, I um my son had some visitors and he wasn't sleeping well. And so I decided to just write down a list on paper again, go into the paper to manifest. And I wrote office hours, only spirit can visit me, not my kids. And then I have specific hours because we're human and we have to sleep. you know? So, yeah, just setting strong boundaries. And the thing about it is these are just people. It's like we be disrespectful to someone we met on the street. So why would we be disrespectful to someone who just happens to not inhabit a physical body right now? So, and the same thing, I wouldn't let a stranger come in on my house at 3 o'clock in the morning, so they can come in during my office hours. It's just a matter of setting up boundaries and being respectful mutually. Okay. Yeah, it's www.ericaantonetti.com. Let me see. Yes. Yeah, it's all the same. Mhm. Thank you. Thank you for having I know. But thank you for having me. I mean, it's a great opportunity, so I really appreciate it. I will.